everyone, welcome to my channel As Told by Sanjini. I'm Sanjini and here I talk about books. So if you're a reader or if you wish to start reading, please do subscribe. Also hit the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever I put up a new video. Now, I have always thought that my favorite book genre is thriller. I mean, there is suspense, the stories are packed with action, they are fast-paced, they manage to keep me at the edge of my seat, and I almost never guess what will happen in the end. But last year, I realized that my favorite book genre is Indian mythological fiction. Thrillers can take a back seat. They might come second, but they're definitely not the first. So Indian mythological fiction. It is basically the retelling of Indian mythology that aims to highlight the seemingly unimportant perspectives, bring into forefront the minor characters, and change the version of truth that has been prevalent since time immemorial. Now, I have read several books that belong to this genre, but today in this video, I am going to talk about the two books that actually introduced me to Indian mythological fiction and that allowed me to fall in love with it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The first book that I'm going to talk about is The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjeedivakaruni. Now, this book has amassed quite popularity and all for the right reasons. It describes the well-known tale of Mahabharata but through Draupadi's eyes. It is a feminist interpretation of an epic that otherwise glorifies patriarchy and men will always rule or men is always superior concept. Now, Divakaruni, unlike the other Indian mythological fiction writers, does not change the story or provide us with an alternate ending. She simply explores Draupadi's life and shows how she has constantly been used as a pawn, literally and metaphorically, by the men in her life. Draupadi was neglected by her father, divided among 5 husbands, and humiliated by the man she thought she loved. Draupadi's life shows how women are always exploited by men to settle their own scores. Draupadi's complex friendship with the mysterious Lord Krishna and her continuous strategies to take control of the household from her mother-in-law Kunti enriches the plot further. Draupadi's fierce personality, her bold and passionate nature makes The Palace of Illusions absolutely worth reading. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Forest of Enchantments by the same writer. It is the retelling of another well-known epic, Ramayana. Now, Ramayan has always been about the heroic adventures of Lord Ram, right? His battle with Ravana and the triumph of good over evil. Now, what role does poor Sita has to play in all of this? She was kidnapped by Ravan so that he can take revenge, and then she was rescued by Ram, but only to be left alone forever. Ram was constantly struggling between his love for Sita and his duties towards his kingdom, and ultimately he chose his kingdom. Can we really celebrate Ramayana knowing the tragedy of Sita? The Forest of Enchantments centers around Sita, and the book is all about the trials and tribulations she goes through and how she endures it all. Now, I read The Palace of Illusions first, and then I read The Forest of Enchantments. And so I was constantly questioning Sita's character because I was constantly comparing it with Draupadi. Draupadi was so bold, so passionate and ready to fight. And on the contrary, Sita was so subservient. But when I delved further, I realized that Divakaruni was trying to convey that Sita's innate strength is the way she accepts her fate. Not everyone can confront. Someone is courageous, some people are courageous when they decide to accept their fate and move on. When Sita asks Mother Earth to consume her, or when she decides to go through the Agni Pariksha, she was not doing so because she was an obedient wife. No, she was doing so because it was her way of rebelling against the humiliation that her husband has been putting her through and the hypocritical nature of the male-dominated society. Both The Palace of Illusions and The Forest of Enchantments are worth your time, so make sure to read them if you haven't. They have changed my lives and they will definitely change yours. If you like this video, please do give it a big fat thumbs up. Also comment down below what kind of bookish content do you wish to see next. Till then, happy reading!